Darkness kills, destroys the will. Find a spark, make hearts thrill. Hear the tales of time so grim. Shine a light, don't let it dim. Heather Brown downtown, bound. True crime story she's found. In the shadows, secret stay. Need a light that finds the way.
Welcome back to another exciting episode of Defeating the Darkness. True crime stories with downtown Heather Brown. That's me, your host. I'm a former homicide and sexual assault prosecutor in Orange County, California. And we have the second exciting episode with Dr. Leslie Dobson, a forensic and clinical psychologist who's all over social media. She testifies as an expert witness in some really high-profile cases. She's written a book. She's an author, and she's a podcast host of a podcast called Intentionally Disturbing that you should all check out after you check out mine, or before, and then, check them both out. But welcome back to the show.
Thank you. It's been a long time.
It has been a long time. And we're back talking because the last time we left off, we were talking about like how you got to be who you are. So if you didn't listen to the first episode, go back, listen to it so you can understand a little bit more about how batshit crazy this girl is.
A little bit.
She's crazy and fun and very, very smart and informed and amazing. She's a badass. And you are killing it in so many realms. You're killing it as a forensic psychologist and also as a podcast host, and your social media has gone crazy.
It has, yeah.
We were talking about on the last episode about how, some of your posts have gone viral and gone crazy and you've gotten death threats, and how you've handled that as a human being who's just like posting opinions and talking about your views on things. And I think a lot of that relates to, what's happened here now that's relevant in our society is the assassination of Charlie Kirk. And so I wanted to talk to you about your thoughts about all that and how social media plays a part in all of that. So enlighten our listeners to your expert opinion about all of that.
It's heavy. It's dark.
And for you, drinking.
For you that has teenage I
have two. I didn't tell you about my second one.
Yeah.
Teenager.
I want to talk to them and ask them if they know some names.
Oh.
But
they'll be available after the show.
I do feel like if our young men are aware of the things that Tyler Robinson, the assassinator, the person who murdered Charlie Kirk.
The a-hole. We're just going to call him
the a-hole
from here on out on the episode. The a-hole.
If people understand why he did it, not necessarily why in a logical sense, but the dark web, the internet community that led up to it, I just want everyone to be aware that your kids could be in danger.
Yeah, and that's a very important topic for us to talk about. Is just like the danger of the internet to children right now. So with regards to this a-hole, tell us about what you know, because I don't know anything about, I was on vacation.
Yeah.
But I don't know anything about what it was that influenced him to do something so horrible and evil and depraved of the human heart.
So we're a week or so out, and I'm sure information is going to change, but we have some evidence that is very factual that won't change. And it's very consistent with other shooters and other killers I've worked with that are young men, or ones that I've studied because they were killed on site, on scene. And the theme for me that I have gotten is that we have these young men who aren't partnered up. They're not quite solid in their identity. They often feel rejected by who they want to partner with, male or female, in between, whatever it is. They don't have the social skills to explain how they're feeling. They're feeling a lot of depression and darkness, and they like gaming. They're going on Roblox. They're going on these games where they can interact with other individuals. Now, are those individuals real people? Maybe sometimes. Are those individuals put in place to push a propaganda, to push chaos, to make the kids feel aligned with them, to groom them into alienating them from their family, trusting the people on these games more, taking their advice more when they are in struggles, and then at one point taking it to a point of chaos and violence. And that is what happened with A-Hole. That is what has happened with so many other killers that we have seen lately. Now, I don't know where groups like 764 originate.
What is that?
764 is one of the biggest online dark web groups that they go to things like, let's say your teenager has an eating disorder and you tell her to go to online groups and she's on a Facebook group for eating disorders. Do you think everyone else there is normal, is there for an eating disorder or has good intentions?
I would think so.
Or is somebody a 30-year-old guy who's pretending to be a girl, who wants to reel her in, who wants to live stream her killing herself so that he can send it to her parents? That happened. There's a lot of in between. I'm missing a lot of pieces, but that's the beginning and that's the end.
Wow.
We're just hitting it hard right off the top.
No, we're hitting it hard. It is dark. Listen.
Yeah.
I believe what you're saying. I do believe that there are such dark, evil forces behind the internet. I always call the cell phone the devil device, but I have to be honest with you. I thought it was the devil device in the sense that it is like grabbing their attention. It's ruining the children's ability to interact with other people on a human level, like we are right now. That's why I have my podcast in person. I don't want to talk to you on a screen.
Yeah.
I want to see you in person. I want to interact with you. I want to bond with you and connect with you on a human level. I don't want to see you through a screen, which is why you're here in person. So I definitely understood that influence on our children. I understood the influence of the scrolling where it's diminishing their capacity to understand things and to, keep their attention for longer than 6 seconds.
Yeah.
Right. And the, desire to be out in nature with what God's created for us to enjoy and to interact with other human beings. And I always experienced the internet that way and thought about like, oh God, this is a bad thing for our kids. But until you just said what you're saying, like, I didn't realize the true darkness that is lurking out there on the internet that is really wanting, like I do, as you saying it, I'm like, oh my God, holy shit, there is a huge agenda to infiltrate and attack our children.
Yeah.
And really, what's the word? Wire their brains into evil darkness.
Yeah. And it is rewiring their brains because it especially took hold during COVID. It came, they saw our kids as prey during COVID. They were online more. They were vulnerable. They were lacking social skills.
They're alone. They're lonely.
They were lonely.
Ugh.
So what did they offer them? They offered them community, purpose, confidence. But then they start to buy into it. And then the kids have to show them their worth, their value. Why do I get to stay in this group? Well, you have to do something to earn that. You have to pretend that you have bipolar disorder and you have to get hospitalized. And you have to show us that that actually happened. And then we will honor you more. So then we're even questioning, are our kids really fucking mentally ill or is it this online shit? And then if I can take you to the next steps of this, which is obscene, is they go to this depth of joking, of memes, of the most unserious culture that exists. They take it to the point where the shooter of Charlie Kirk said to his partner, if I actually see the scripture I engraved in the bullet talking about Charlie Kirk's bulge on Fox News, I might have a stroke. It was a joke. He wanted to see his joke play out. That's why he assassinated Charlie Kirk.
Yeah.
So we're not talking about right or left. We're not talking about any of this shit. We're talking about
Good and evil. You're talking about good and evil is what you're talking about. You're
And-
talking about someone who's so diabolical, but because they've been mind fucked
yeah.
by the evil darkness that's lurking in the web for our children is what you're talking about.
We're talking about the capacity of evil people to target
Vulnerable,
as prey.
naive sponges who are easily manipulated and influenced.
And that's why I say if you have a kid that understands the unserious culture, the meme culture, they're too far gone already. You need to pull them out. You need to get them off the internet. The average kid is in an incel, involuntary celibate, is in these dark web places for 3.5 years. And then they kind of find the light. Pull them out sooner.
I don't even know what you just said. It sounded like Chinese to me. What are you saying?
So involuntary celibates are these.
What the heck is that?
It's this extremist online group of men who are so not men. I'm going to say boys who are so fucking insecure that they can't get a partner. They think that 20%, and there's studies on this that just came out. They think that 80% of women want the top 20% of guys, so they don't stand a chance. So they're just not going to have sex. It really comes down to sex a lot of the time.
I think everything comes down to sex and money, to be honest with you, and our entire society.
And power,
is
right?
Pathetic and ridiculous, yes.
They're not going to have sex until they can have sex that dictates their power, which means that they need to rape women. They need to force it on others. And then they can define themselves by that power and that rage. And this is an actual dark web culture of our children that is probably the most dangerous thing I see coming over the next 5-10 years. And so the murder of Charlie Kirk was...
I'd like another drink, please. This is so depressing. Oh my God.
We can change subjects. But the murder...
No, I want to... Come on.
The murder of Charlie Kirk, I think, was utterly eye-opening to the world. And if there's any good that came from it, it's that.
No, that's what I say. Like, the good that came out of that is, like, he is a martyr. He is, like, I told you in the last episode, I love JC. I love Jesus. He's my everything. He's my Lord and Savior. And he was murdered for talking. He was murdered because they didn't like what he had to say. And no one should be murdered. End of story. Like, that's the end of it. No one should be murdered.
Yeah.
And of course, I just said I'm all for the death penalty. Let's kill those assholes. But
different story.
I agree. But I don't think you should be murdered for speaking your truth.
Yeah.
And just because people disagree with you doesn't mean you get to be murdered. Doesn't mean you get to get death threats like you've been getting from these a-holes, Lauren. We're onto you, Lauren, and the FBI is onto you. Right?
And
Loren, Lauren.
lives in a trailer.
In a trailer. But there are some nice trailers out there, I'm just saying, for the record.
Yeah, I'm not hating on trailers. I'm just hating on Lauren's trailer.
Yeah, we're just hating on his trailer because we picture him with pictures of you. Like,
yeah.
You might have a voodoo doll of you or something, right?
Ooh, I invite that. I could.
No, you don't. You'd be like, oh my God.
No, Ray. I'm too powerful.
Don't invite the voodoo doll. Don't invite any of that shit. You just say, I'm sorry, Lauren, that you disagree with me, and don't even think about
I think I'm actually surprised. I think you might be a better person than me.
I don't know how to take that. Like, you're surprised I'm better, or
the psychologist and the DA, I am supposed to be like moralistically better, but I think you are.
I wouldn't go that far. Would you, Tom Brown? You want to weigh in on this? Oh, he's gone. He left me. He doesn't even want to hear what we have to say. Oh. No, I just think honestly, listen, I have encountered some very dark people in my career. And I do think inherent in all those dark people at some point there was some good in those people. I really do believe that. And I think that some asshole, some a-hole.
Maybe.
I do think at some point some interference had some play. Like you're saying, this a-hole that murdered Charlie Kirk, right? You're saying he was vulnerable. Somebody preyed upon his vulnerability within the dark web, right? And inherent in your, like, watch out, because your children could be that vulnerable too. My children are good and beautiful and loving. And I could see, not necessarily, my kids, because I'm liking to believe that I've created them to be a little more stronger in the Constitution but I get it, how kids can be preyed upon in a situation like COVID, when they're alone, they're isolated, they're downtrodden. My son, I don't think he'd mind me sharing this. He was in a dark place at some point when COVID happened. One of his best friends killed himself. He hung himself. And my son was so down and dark. And sad, and COVID hit at the same time. So now he's in this vulnerable state where he's heartbroken. And, when you're 14, you don't know how to process one of your best friends killing themselves. You don't know how, you don't have the tools and the skills to handle that darkness happening. And then all of a sudden you're isolated from all your friends and the people that could give you support and love. And you're placed in a room and you're told to go online and all that bullshit that happened with COVID. And I could see how in that moment you could be very vulnerable. Someone who's a good person could be vulnerable to the darkness that lurks and that our children don't understand. And even the parents, I don't understand how dark it is out there. I don't understand that there's people online that are trying to infiltrate someone with an eating disorder and tell them you should kill yourself. But that's where you're testifying in all these cases, right?
Well, and I'm not, it sounds very conspiracy, but Google 764, the person who started it, he's in prison for life. It is a real thing. He is locked up. But what did he do before he got locked up? He taught people how to follow in his footsteps in case he got locked up.
That's crazy.
So then they were doing exactly what he was doing. And now they're out there.
What are all those people that made the people drink the Kool-Aid?
The Reeboks?
No.
They were wearing Reeboks, right? Like cults?
Yeah, the cults. That's what I'm saying. They're like cults.
Yeah. It is a cult.
The people that followed Charlie Manson or followed.
I mean, and I think that's the word. Accelerationism. That's the word. Charles Manson followed accelerationism. And the thought was, and granted, he was a racist and he was psychotic and he was schizophrenic and all this, third grade reading level, but a high IQ. I mean, just a massive problem in the world. But what he believed in was that if we can cause enough chaos and death, then the whites will outlive every other race. We get them all to kill themselves, and then he will take over as king. That's accelerationism. We're going to speed up the chaos and the massacre of the universe so that the race that should take over, which to him was white, will get there sooner. That's the same thing that's happening online with our boys.
That's horrible. Well, what do we do as parents to protect against this? Tell me, what can we do?
I mean, I'm a huge advocate to get your kids off the fucking internet. Like little kids shouldn't be having cell phones. They shouldn't have access to the internet. There are technologies that allow your phone to be pinged if their phone senses violence or bullying or any kind of keywords. Like there's one technology is Bark software. And I don't like you, Bark, because you're not paying me to say this, right? But my husband was wrestling with the kids and they were just screaming and they were laughing a lot. And my daughter decided to take a video of them wrestling. And I got a text, I was in the other room, that my daughter was around violence instantaneously.
For real?
Yes. So I think what we need to do,
paying you, because I might want to get that out.
Right? Bark.
But what if it comes up and it's
John
me being clean up your dishes?
Right. Well, I told my daughter, I was like, it's bath
I just got
time.
recorded by Bark.
I texted my daughter she has a Bark phone that is very secure. I texted her on the Bark phone and I said, it's bath time. And she said, no, I'm doing art. And I said, but you're stinky. I got a text saying my daughter was being bullied by me.
You might have been bullying her. I'm not going to lie.
She was stinky. She's like at that phase of BO now. We're in BO. We need daily baths.
We do. I'm down. But the teenagers don't want to bathe.
No. But
It's overrated for them.
There's ways
But
to
you're like,
mitigate
dude,
this. I know they smell. They all, especially teenage
Their
boys.
feet, especially.
I know. Yeah. An athlete's foot is like, oh my God, it's like a thing.
Yeah. It is a thing. And my boy has men's size 18 shoe.
Oh,
They're big feet.
yeah.
But they don't actually stink anymore. They used to when he was younger, when they were like 16. Now they're good.
Oh,
I think the bigger they grew, that stench, like,
they're just like, they smell for a long time, don't they? Like it started early.
they're all right. Our kids are going to be like, we fucking hate you.
I know.
That's why we want to kill you and everybody else. It's because you're horrible people as parents. No. You talked about my stinky feet online. Okay, so
But
Charlie Kirk, we talked about that. But
there are ways to mitigate this.
like what?
I mean,
But realistically, what can we do other than like keep them off the internet?
like,
We gotta have some.
wake the fuck up. Wake the fuck up. Do you know your kid's baseline? If your kid's off their baseline, do you have communication in a relationship to talk to them and be like, what the fuck is going on? This fool that killed Charlie Kirk, for a year, he was having arguments with his dad about fundamental beliefs. You know, take into account their age. 18 to 22 is so fucking vulnerable.
Is that the period, 18 to 22?
The ripest period. If you're having issues, if they're changing course, if you don't know what's going on, if they seem emotionally erratic, if they're getting random gifts from fucking people, if they're befriending new people, if they're overly isolated, intervene. You chose to have this fucking child, now protect it.
Okay.
And just because they're 22, they're not they are still a child.
100%.
They are a child until, I don't even know. I'm 42 and I still ask my dad for money.
You mean 24, right?
Yeah, that's right. Says my plastic surgeon.
Yes.
In a month, I'll be like even younger. Just wait.
Just wait till the Botox.
The upper blast and the, okay.
You're too much. Okay, so.
You can do something.
Okay.
If you're not doing something, you're not parenting. And I'm sorry. And that's harsh. And I'm not victim blaming. But
No,
the schools can do something. The teachers can do something. The neighbors can do something.
I'm sorry. Listen, I'm going to vent for a second.
You see something, you say something.
My husband gets mad at me every time I say this, but like sometimes the teachers that I meet and I see at school night, I'm like, are you kidding me? That's who's teaching my kids?
Yeah.
Like, they're weirdos.
Yeah.
And my kids go to public school.
Can I tell you a story? I don't know if I should tell it, but I'll tell it.
Come on.
So my daughter's 8 and she knows I have a true crime podcast and she knows my profession to her appropriate level, right? It was art day. So they got to make costumes. So she got to make a necklace and like a little
She didn't come in as the bomber, like
side piece. No. So her necklace was a knife. Her little piece she could make was a hatchet.
You're like, oh fuck, I'm totally getting called by CPS right now.
It was pink, covered in glitter.
Oh,
Totally my style.
she had a glitter hatchet.
She put Dr. Leslie on it. They called me and they were like, we need to talk to you about your daughter. And I was like, oh, let's talk. Let's go. And they wanted to talk in front of her. And I was like, you want to talk in a private room? Let's go. So we sat down and we talked. And I was like, did you ask her what her process was behind making this? Because actually, if you ask her, they were presents for me.
I gave her the glitter hatchet for a Christmas present.
Yes, exactly. It's situational. She has no ill intent at all. But did you take the time as a teacher, as an authoritative, in an authority position,
right.
Did you take the time to accurately assess the situation before making her feel small, before isolating her, before overdiagnosing her?
They were like, okay, we're never calling this mother again.
Yes. Exactly.
You're like,
it was
nailed it. That's exactly what
Yeah.
I wanted.
And I looked at one of the girls and I was like, hey, how long have you worked here and what's your education? And she looked at me and she's like, it's been years.
You're like, you appear to be like 24.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I was like, okay, yeah, just wait.
So I got to tell you a funny story. So I was at lunch one time with my friend Kevin Smith, who's one of my.
Is that like a big name? I should know.
No, he's one of the Kevins. So he's one of the Kevins, my two friends, Kevin and Kevin, Kevin Shanae and Kevin Smith, who were in I call them my boy band. They were the ones I met in a bar, and then they came to watch me, and that's when the guy slashed his throat.
Oh,
So then
the razor blade man.
Yes. So then they repeatedly would come and watch my trials. So they're my best friends.
Like groupies.
Yes, they're like my groupie best friends. I love them. The defense attorney in the case, he's like, is your boy band here? So they hate that when I call them the boy band, which is why I'm saying it. But anyway, I was at lunch with Kevin and I hadn't seen him in a while. And I was there with my husband, my daughter. I have a daughter she's now 15, but she was probably like 8, 9, your daughter's age, right?
Yeah.
At the time. And we're sitting there and I was in the homicide unit and this guy had been shot and murdered, but he was an organ donor. And so they were keeping him on life support. He was brain dead, so there was no chance of him living. And they had him on life support. And until he's dead, I can't file the murder charges, right? So I was waiting and waiting for him to die, like for them to harvest his organs so then I could file the charges because the guy's in custody and you have a certain time period. So I'm like,
you do like get your nails done?
no, but I went to lunch with my friend and my daughter. So I'm there with Kevin and my daughter and my husband.
Waiting for someone to die?
Yeah. And I was waiting for him I was waiting to get the text that like they got his organs and he's dead.
So not normal.
I know. It's not normal, right?
No.
So I'm sitting there and I'm on my phone because I'm like, is he dead yet? Like, okay. And so my daughter's sitting next to me and Kevin's on the other side and Kevin's getting pissed that I'm on my phone while we're having lunch. Like, bitch, you're not paying attention to me, right? So I was like, I go, I'm sorry. I'm like, but like this guy got killed and I'm waiting for them to harvest his organs so I can file charges, right? And my daughter looks at me and she's like, harvesting organs, Mom? I'm trying to eat here. Right? Like my daughter's like 8 years old and I'm talking about someone harvesting someone's organs. So yeah, it does affect your family to some degree to where they're like, I don't know. She's probably so twisted now.
I know. I think like they'll be okay.
That's
what I think. If they're not, I think as a team,
until they're like,
we'll hide the bodies.
Until what?
If they're not okay, we'll just hide the bodies.
We'll hide the bodies.
I mean, I'm in it to win it.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, we're gonna delete that part if she ever gets accused of her kids murdering anyone.
No one would ever accuse me because they wouldn't find it.
No, but listen, this is the funniest thing. Okay, so Matt Murphy,
Yes.
who I know you adore. Everybody does.
He doesn't respond to my messages.
Really?
He thinks he's better than me, but
he
you want
thinks
to
he's better
compare
than
like social
everybody.
media followings?
No, Murphy is so highbrow.
I know you got asked to go to CrimeCon this year and I didn't, but
I didn't get to ask to CrimeCon.
I spoke last year, raving reviews.
And they didn't ask you this year?
No, I think somebody set me up.
I think it was Murphy. He wanted all the glory.
Yes.
I love ripping on Murphy. That like I could have a career on ripping on Matt Murphy. I really could.
Yeah.
I love him though. I do. I hate to love him, but I've watched him in trial and he's brilliant. I don't want to admit
good.
I don't want to admit he's brilliant and very well spoken, but he is.
Yeah. It's
And
a
the
job.
girls love him.
Yeah.
All right. And
But I also really like Tara Newell,
I don't even know who that is.
the person
Oh, the girl that
helped.
stabbed the guy,
Yeah.
Dirty John, in the eye because she thought it was she saw the show about the apocalypse or something.
Yeah.
And that's
But
what
he was
did.
going to straight up kill her, kidnap her. Like it was, she's tiny. When I had her on my podcast, like she's so little. She's,
Tell the listeners what she did.
it's a long story. It's a long story.
Mother was bamboozled by this guy who pretended he was an anesthesiologist. He was full of shit, bullshit.
Yeah. He was
The
psycho.
daughter thought he was a nut job and knew it. And then one night they end up on a parking structure and he tries to kill her because he knows that she's the one that knows that he's full of shit. And she had watched a lot of zombie apocalypse shows and knew that the way you kill zombies is you stab them in the eye with a knife.
But she stabbed him dozens of times, and she took the knife from him, and she's very small, and he was over 6 feet tall.
God bless her.
And I mean, she is a fucking powerhouse to do that.
Yeah.
And even more disturbing is that they were on the rooftop. People saw, and they didn't do anything.
Yeah, that's bullshit.
People witnessed this.
If Sahlberg were there, my law partner, he would have done something.
I would have done something.
I would have done something.
But she's amazing, and it was self-defense. I mean, that guy was there to end her, and I'm so glad
Matt
she's
Murphy
still alive.
saw the light.
And she makes amazing cookies.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
All right, good to know. Okay, so moving on, what are you working on right now? I want to know because you're working on a case in Santa Barbara that sounds fascinating. Is it Santa Barbara?
San Luis Obispo.
Oh, San Luis Obispo.
So I used to work up in San Luis Obispo. And while I was working there, a young man was murdered. And let's say murdered, it started with suicide. It was undetermined. It's really moved around. So he was groomed heavily by a man in his 50s. This kid Tommy was 20. And he wanted to start a cactus company. He wanted to start selling plants. He loved them. This 50-year-old was really, really engaged with his company. He wanted to help him.
Selling cactuses?
Yes. Okay. Right? Red flag, right? There's 8 million red flags. So it gets to the point where this guy picks him up one night and takes him out. They were going to go do all these different things, but plans were changed because Tommy said his girlfriend was at this location. Well, the guy didn't want to take him there. So plans keep changing.
Do you think the guy's interested in like banging Tommy?
Raping.
Yeah.
Yeah. So he takes him to a bar called the Frog and the Peach, and he overdoses him in alcohol. Tommy is so scared, he leaves the bar and he is running for his fucking life. He's hiding behind planters. He is running, screaming for help. He's belligerently drunk. He ends up in a parking structure. He goes up to the 3rd floor. He's out of his mind. And then all of a sudden, he's out the side of the parking structure and he's dead with his skull fractured on the ground. What happened? Well, the police did nothing. They didn't pull the surveillance. They didn't get CCTV. They didn't ask a fucking witness. They were late filing an involuntary manslaughter charge, and they closed the case. This is where Kristen Smart was killed, and no one found her body for 20 years. So the parents open a civil litigation with, they're suing this guy, David Knight. They subpoena everyone. They get all the camera footage. They get all the records. They're deposing everyone.
Is the guy, David Knight, on the camera footage?
Yes.
Okay. Like chasing Tommy?
Yes.
Throwing him over or what?
No. We don't have footage of the parking structure.
Okay.
We do have footage of the bar that every time Tommy took a drink, David Knight told Tommy to look away, switch their drinks, gave Tommy the full cup again. Tommy's blood alcohol was 0.38 with under an hour.
Oh, he's almost dead.
Yes.
Yeah.
So he's belligerent. This guy's chasing him. Tommy falls twice, gets 2 concussions. People are calling 911 saying, what the fuck is happening? The police respond with, is it a homeless guy? They don't send an ambulance. There's no medical care. David Knight slaps Tommy awake, keeps running. Tommy is running. He drops his phone at one point. David Knight puts the phone in his own pockets. Tommy runs up. We don't know what happens now in the parking structure.
Next thing you know, tossed over dead.
Tommy lands. He's dead. David Knight walks up, assesses it, walks around the massive parking structure, takes Tommy's phone, texts himself. Where are you? From Tommy's phone. comes back around the fucking parking structure, sees the police who have been called, and he says, "This is Tommy Jodry. This is his parents' address, his phone number. I don't want to be identified." And the cop says, "Okay." Well, that is now on body cam footage. And we see him saying that. We also see him texting himself. We see Tommy's phone in his hand. And here's one of the creepiest parts. He leaves the scene. He goes to Tommy's parents' house. They're just watching TV and they're hanging out. They're beautiful fucking people. They're nurses. And he says, "Call Sierra Vista Hospital, the local trauma center, the local hospital. That's where I had my fucking baby." And he says, "Call." So they're like, "Why? What's going on?" "Call." They call and they tell him Tommy's dead. The parents break down, completely breaking down. The mom starts hyperventilating. Mary Jane, she's like thrusting her body back and forth. And David Knight is watching her with no expression, emotionless.
He goes and tells the parents, "Call Sierra Hospital."
And then he realizes when the mom's starting to flip out, I've got to flip out too. And he starts thrusting his body back and forth, acting like her, but with no facial expressions. Psychopath. Psychopath. He leaves. They never see him again. He lives 2 miles from them. Everyone sees him. He's always at Ralph's. People know he's around. I'm at my wit's end with the case. I've taken it to social media, and within one day, multiple production companies have contacted me. The DA has been reading my messages, and we are making a docuseries.
Oh, wow. And so what's the status of him? Is he being prosecuted now or no?
The DA says that without a confession, I'm not willing to reopen the case. I've had 3 victims reach out saying that they were harmed by David Allen Knight.
Really?
And the DA will not respond to me.
Shame on you, DA.
What would you do?
At least look into it. Well, listen, the reality is you have to prove a case beyond a reasonable doubt to 12 strangers, 12 jurors, right?
Do you not think that warrants it? At
I
least
do think-
involuntary manslaughter?
Listen. You mean because he fed him the booze?
And chased him. And twice tried to pull his head down towards his penis. On camera. And groomed him for months leading up to this. And has 3 sexual offenses on his record that he had expunged.
Okay, so is his intent to sexually assault him or his intent to murder him? Like, there's nothing that shows why he went
sexual assault.
Do you think there's nothing that shows why he went over the side of the building?
No. Other than his hands were grasping to the side, his nails were dug in. He did not want to fall. You could see it on the side of the parking structure, and he landed on his back. Now, I've seen people kill themselves.
And
I've
there's
seen them
no
jump off
witnesses
tiers.
in the
They
parking
don't die like that.
structure. I'm just honestly trying to envision,
No.
like, if I get this case on my desk, what am I thinking?
There's no witnesses. However, there is a father who said this guy looked deranged, Tommy, because he was so out of his mind, that he told Tommy to go into the main part of the parking structure, and he protected his kids from him.
Oh, well, that doesn't help you for the murder case.
No.
That doesn't help. I just think that, listen, as a prosecutor, you want to file the case if you can file a case, arguably, right? If you're a good prosecutor and you're aggressive and you're looking for any way to prove the case to 12 people beyond a reasonable doubt. And if you can't, ethically, you can't file those charges. You got to prove it. You got to have, if you're going to file it, you got to be able to back it up with the evidence that shows he committed the murder, right?
Yeah.
And getting him super loaded. Like, let's just say arguably he's a pedophile. He's a groomer. He wanted to do him in the butt. What the worst thing you can think of, does that amount to the intent to kill him? Does that amount to the, like pushing him over? Do you have any evidence he pushed him? Do you have any evidence he was chasing him and he, it was
Chasing, yeah.
like he's chasing him, but is he chasing him and saying, wait, you're too drunk. be careful. Don't go over you know what I mean? Like, there's so many scenarios that they could present that I don't think the prosecutor could overcome that. So I'm not going to bust the balls of the prosecutor on that one for not filing just yet, but there might be other facts I don't know. But what you're telling me right now, I don't know that I would.
But what about the other victims coming forward?
That he wanted to sexually assault them,
Yeah.
but not murder them. Here's the problem.
No.
You want him to file a murder.
Involuntary manslaughter, at least.
Yeah, but manslaughter is a mitigated murder. Manslaughter is a mitigated murder. It's like there were like, you either have a first degree murder or he intended to kill him. Well, if you're going to say he wanted to sexually assault him, like his intent was to have sex with him, not to murder him, right? A second degree murder is probably you did something that was inherently dangerous to human life. You knew it was inherently dangerous to human life and you did it anyway, which caused their death, which arguably getting him so fucking wasted, but was your intent to get him lubricated and drugged so you could have sex with him and he'd be, more pliable and amenable to have sex with you, right? And then like a voluntary manslaughter is heat of passion, right? You were so overcome, like you came in and you found someone having sex with your 5-year-old or your husband's having sex with your sister and you murder them. You're so overcome, and the average reasonable person would have been so overcome that they would have acted the same way. That's a voluntary manslaughter.
Yeah. What about
involved is like you did something that was criminal in nature and someone died as a result of it. So what's the crime? Like attempted.
I just trying to get him so drunk to take advantage of him, knowing.
I don't think you can prove that to 12 people.
Knowing that he had a problem with alcohol abuse prior.
That even works against you more. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I just can see like the legal analysis behind it.
Exactly.
The emotional is like, fuck that guy, let's get him.
Exactly.
But the legal analysis, I don't know that you can prove that case.
Exactly.
To 12 people. I mean, I can't get my kids to agree on where we're going for dinner.
Yeah.
And there's 2 of them.
But when you look at the whole story and you look at all of the victims coming forward now, I think it's quite compelling.
Arguably, if you got a little bit more facts, a little more evidence against them, you could prove it. I was an aggressive prosecutor. I was willing to go down swinging.
Yeah.
And
his properties are covered in commercial grade cameras. Listen, it's
is he guilty of being an a-hole and creepy? And yes.
Well, definitely a sexual predator because those were actual convictions.
Yeah. But proving a murder of some
His
sort.
desire to sexually assault someone led to his death.
If you could prove that he was chasing him for I don't know. It's a dicey one. I could see a DA being like, I don't think I could prove this.
Exactly.
That's a tricky one.
This is the case.
Wow. Well, you got your work ahead of you for sure. We have just like covered so many different topics. It's crazy.
I know.
Listeners are like, I need a drink. Wow. All right. So, you're waiting to hear if you're going to get like a docuseries about that one?
Yeah, that's one of them.
Is that the docuseries one?
Actually, a show I made, a show I was in, just started, Death Row Confidential. So we have episode 1 on Oxygen and Peacock, and 3 more episodes to come. But we actually solved, I'm not going to say the number, we solved multiple cold cases.
Oh, really?
Of a serial sex offender and murderer who is currently in prison.
Oh, I love that. Okay, where can our listeners watch that? Death Row 1 on...
Death Row Confidential, and it's on Oxygen and Peacock right now. So every Sunday night.
All right. On Sundays, Death Row Confidential. That should be on your playlist for Hulu.
And what I like about it is it's real. I didn't get paid for it. We actually did it to solve cold cases. Someone who was the cellmate of one of the most dangerous people I've ever heard of in my life took notes for 10 years. Gave that information to an investigator. We figured out if it was real. It was. He got off death row. He's out. We solved the cases. And multiple families found closure, at least knowing how their family members were killed and mutilated and strangled by pantyhose and staged on the Golden Gate Bridge.
What? Okay.
It's beyond fucked up when you get into the show.
Please tell me that's not Michael Thompson you're talking
No.
about. Okay. Okay.
His name's Joseph Naso.
Never heard of him.
One of the most prolific, sexually violent
Wait, he's the one
serial
who got
killers.
off?
No, that was the killer.
Oh.
When you open his garage, he has a mannequin for every body he's killed, posed in lingerie, like he posed them on these major freeways, Golden Gate Bridge. And he goes into that garage like it's a party of mannequins, dozens, and he jacks off to them.
Oh my God, no wonder you drink bourbon.
Yeah.
She's drinking bourbon.
So if you're into that, there's a TV show for you right now.
If you're into that, Maureen Kirby, just saying. What's it called?
Death Row Confidential.
Death Row Confidential on Oxygen.
Oxygen and Peacock.
Oxygen and Peacock. Okay, and you have a book called
the Friend Cleanse.
The Friend Cleanse. To cleanse all your friends, get rid of the friends that are no longer servicing you.
If you know me, you might want to read it and stay away from me.
Yeah, now I know why she has no friends. She's cleansed of mine. No.
The ones I pay are really devoted.
All right.
Yeah.
Your fans on. And okay, so
Sorority Sisters?
we have the Friend Cleanse. What else? Your podcast. Intentionally disturbing, which it's disturbing. Just this podcast alone is disturbing. I'm confident. Trigger warnings.
Yeah.
And then what else can we? Oh, and if you want to hire her as an expert forensic or clinical psychologist, Dr. Leslie Dobson can be found where?
At drlesliedobson.com.
Dr. Leslie Dobson, and it's Leslie.
Yes, after my uncle.
Dr. Leslie Dobson, Dobson.
Yes, very English.
Very.
But no, genuinely, I am a good expert.
I believe you to be a good expert.
I trained in the government, in the state and the federal government, and they put a lot of money into that training for many, many years.
Yeah.
And then I took it all out into civil court where no one is trained like that. So I have one up on everyone, which is pretty cool.
And you, civil, let's talk a little just for a couple of minutes before we end this episode about your civil litigation, because we at Fight for Survivors need certificates of merit from very good forensic psychologists who evaluate victims of sexual abuse and opine and make recommendations or like opinions, right? What do you do? Tell me exactly.
I mean, if you're over 40, for some reason, people think your memory is going to lapse. I don't know. I'm 42. I remember things pretty well. But if you're over...
I'm 55. I can't remember anything. So
if you're...
They might be onto something. I'm just saying.
I mean, maybe like now, but...
But in your 40s, you can remember everything.
I've got...
it's only been...
I've got 10 years to rock this.
You do.
Okay. If you're over 40... people don't trust your memory anymore, and you have to have a mental health professional say that you're telling the truth about being raped as a child.
Oh, yeah. I'm pretty sure we remember that. I don't remember what I had for breakfast, but if I'm getting raped,
yeah,
I'm remembering that one.
So I'm hired a lot to assess if people are malingering or lying, or if they're feigning good, feigning bad, if they're altering their emotions related to the situation. And so I'll go through an objective assessment of them. And then if I determine that they are actually telling the truth, then they can file a lawsuit. And if they want to sue somebody who harmed them when they were a child, like maybe a Catholic priest raping an altar boy, that happens every fucking day and has been happening for decades, I could move on to be the expert in the case and do a really lengthy psychological assessment and see what kind of trauma they've endured and put a monetary amount to the trauma. You know, when it happened, how did this impact your life? What happened to you? Where are you now? And oftentimes they're not in a good place. And the church, the diocese in that case, deserves to pay them to bring them back to a place that they can live.
Amen to that. That is where we connect on many levels, because I am wholeheartedly in agreement with all of what you just said. And God bless you for doing that kind of work, because our victims of sexual abuse need that more than anything. And you have worked, I didn't know that until before I brought you on here, but you have worked with our firm, Fight for Survivors, which delves into going after the churches and the schools and the organizations that cover up child sexual abuse. And I don't know if you probably don't know this about me, but I wrote a book called Defeating the Darkness also about the cover-ups that happen in the churches and schools and organizations, and how to, climb your way out of that, and in the civil realm as well as the criminal realm. So I applaud you and thank you for all that you're doing to help victims of crime and survivors of sexual abuse, and to shine a light in the darkest places for people, and everything that you've done. And I love that you're going on social media. You should check out her podcast, her social media. Where can they find you on social media? Because I've watched some of your clips before you came on, and I was like, oh, I love this girl. She just talks some shit and calls people out, and all the cases that are in the news that I know nothing about. I love that you're just calling out the predators and the perpetrators and the pedophiles for and saying it like it is, even if you do cuss a little. We don't like cussing on this podcast, but
well, fuck them.
I'm just kidding. But yeah, no,
it's true. It's like, I've been doing some Jehovah's Witness cases. Deuteronomy 19:15. If you want to take the Bible for what it says, how they interpret it, Jehovah's Witnesses, is that you need 2 independent people to witness a sexual assault. And if there aren't 2 independent people, you can report it to an elder, not secular police.
The police, yeah.
That's fucked up.
I agree. I handled
up.
a case with a Jehovah's Witness. I did. I handled a case.
Yeah.
And with an elder who borrowed his kid's daughter, took her to Chuck E. Cheese and did all kinds of things. It was horrible.
Yeah.
And then we had the whole testimony in court and everything. And yeah, it was crazy.
My favorite part, though, was that the attorney defending them was so sucked into the religion, he couldn't see the outside. So he couldn't even depose me. He was completely befuddled. You've got to understand that if you get into the weeds with an expert, you need to know how to navigate it.
Yeah.
He didn't, because he was so sucked into being a Jehovah's Witness.
Yeah, when you're too close to something, sometimes you're ineffective.
Yes.
As an attorney.
We have to separate out church and state. We have to separate out rape and sexual abuse from what we interpret the Bible to tell us what to do when we see a crime occur. Yeah. That's what's so amazing about you, is that you can do that.
Yeah. Well, I don't know about that, but because the Bible tells you to be good and love everybody. And sometimes I want to burn these perpetrators alive. I'm just being honest.
Hey,
pray for me.
It's a moral compass.
Yeah. And we are all the works in progress. That's what I always say. Well, gosh, we're out of time. So, but I think we might need to have you back.
Can I come back in after my mass shooting trial is over?
Yes.
I'll let you know how that goes.
Yeah. No, we'll have to have you back, and you can tell us all about that. I'm sure you have 1,000 more stories we didn't even touch upon.
Eyeballs, testicles, pee and poo, perfect painting material.
Yeah, we didn't even really get into the pedophilia and the heteropsychopathy checklist. So I do want to touch upon that, but I know you have a life and I've kept you here long enough. But we're going to circle back, and I'm going to have you back on because I'd love to talk to you more and give a deeper dive into some of the topics I'm fascinated by. And I just want to thank you for coming on. It's been an honor and privilege to have you on my show. And I think you may possibly be my spirit animal. And
is it like a Black Panther?
Whatever you want it to be.
And we haven't even mentioned like our necklaces.
I know we have. And my friend Robin Sachs bought me this handcuff necklace.
Yeah.
That I have on, and you're wearing the same one.
Yeah. I have a gold one. It just didn't go with my outfit. I changed gold versus white gold. Sometimes it just depends on the outfit.
Well, we're like yin and yang with the gold and silver. But yeah, right? Isn't that crazy? We're both wearing little handcuffs.
Lock them up and throw away the key.
Make sure they see our little handcuff. Robin gave me this when I retired from the DA's office. I don't always wear it because my clients, when I'm a defense attorney, are like, "Are those handcuffs on your neck?" They're not.
They are.
They're not as into the handcuff necklace as my colleagues at the DA's office were. But yeah,
Is it bad I got this as an anniversary gift for my husband?
no. It's a beautiful thing. It's a beautiful. Be happy you got any gift from your husband that he remembered the anniversary. Let's just go with that,
Yeah, that's true.
right? Don't overthink
It's been like
it.
15 years.
Don't overthink
And yes,
it.
I'm married. Yeah.
Yes.
I'm married.
And kids.
Yeah. To all the people who
Yes.
think I'm a single mom who doesn't return a shopping cart.
Yeah. I know. That's crazy. That's a crazy story.
Mhm.
I could give a shit whether you return it or not.
Well, good.
I think you're giving someone a job who can return
Oh,
it
God,
for
don't
you.
say that. You're going to get canceled.
I'm going to get hate crimes.
Yeah.
I mean, death threats too.
Yeah. Don't
not
talk
right.
about the shopping cart. Thank you for having me on.
Oh my God. It was so fun.
I've only gotten 2 bug bites from large black mosquitoes.
But you had 2 whistle pigs. So I think we're
Yeah.
calling it even.
Yeah.
All right.
And I didn't have to do bedtime with my kids.
There was a bonus. So I think it's 3 for 2 or 2 for 3, however that works out.
See, that's why I don't do math.
Yeah.
That's why
you
I'm a
went to
psychologist.
psychology instead. Me too. I, honest to God, was a math major. And I was like, I can't pass this statistics.
No.
I can't even say it. Never mind pass it.
Okay.
was so
I was
boring.
like, I'm done.
No.
I'm done. I don't know what this madness is.
Let me look into serial killers and murderers. That'd be more fun.
Yeah. Because their math makes sense.
Yeah. Their math makes sense. All right. Well, wow. You've been very eye-opening, and I do think you might possibly be batshit crazy, but it was really fun having you on. And until we meet again on the next episode, if you can't find the light, be the light, like Dr. Leslie Dobson, who's crazy, but very fun and very smart. And you should call her if you need an expert witness, or read her book if you want to get rid of some horrible friends, or listen to her podcast if you want to hear about some disturbing tales, or watch her on her Instagram if you want to hear about the crazy cases in the news about all the horrible people and how she weighs in on that with her expertise.
Or if you
So-
need an alibi.
Oh, if you need an alibi, she's down. She's thought of many ways to murder people and get away with it. So there you go. There you have it.
Surfboards, cinder blocks.
Cinder blocks and ropes.
Rat
I say
ties.
bad, go with the crocodiles. Till next time. If you can't find the light, be the light. Like us, who fought and think of ways to murder people. So long now.
Be the light, shine so bright.